You get cancelled today for wearing too much makeup. Ancient people got poisoned for it. Literally. For thousands of years, humans have done insane things to their bodies just to look beautiful. Not injections, not filters. We're talking lead, poison, and crushed bugs rubbed straight onto the face. And the wildest part? A lot of these people knew it was hurting them. They just didn't care, because looking good mattered more than staying alive. Sound familiar? Let's start in ancient Rome and Egypt, where pale skin was the ultimate status symbol. If you were tan, that meant you worked outside in the sun, which meant you were poor. If you were pale, that meant you stayed indoors all day, which meant you were rich. So wealthy Roman and Egyptian women wanted skin as white as possible. Their solution was a substance called Ceruse, made from white lead mixed with vinegar. They painted it directly onto their faces every single day. The problem is lead is a poison. It builds up slowly in the body and attacks the nervous system. Long-term use caused skin damage, hair loss, tremors, and in some cases, it's believed to have contributed to mental decline. So the very thing making them look flawless was quietly destroying them from the inside. They were dying to look beautiful, not as a figure of speech, actually dying. And it wasn't just their skin. Egyptian kohl, the thick black eyeliner you've probably seen in every ancient Egypt documentary, was made using lead sulfide. Both men and women wore it heavily around their eyes, believing it protected them from the sun and even warded off evil spirits. Recent research actually suggests small amounts might have had some antibacterial benefits for eye infections, but the amounts they were using went way beyond that. This wasn't a skincare routine. This was industrial exposure to heavy metal, applied daily, right next to their eyeballs. Now let's jump to ancient Rome again, because they weren't done. Wealthy Roman women used a very specific ingredient in their facial treatments: crocodile dung. Yes, you heard that right. The Roman writer Pliny the Elder documented women using crocodile excrement as a face mask, believing it would lighten and smooth the skin. Picture that for a second. Someone got up, put on their finest jewelry, styled their hair for hours, and then smeared crocodile poop on their face and called it self-care. Let's travel to China now, where beauty standards took an even darker turn. For nearly 1,000 years, small feet were considered the peak of feminine beauty and elegance. So starting around age 4 or 5, young girls had their feet tightly bound with cloth, breaking the bones and folding the toes underneath the foot to force it into a tiny, curved shape barely 3 or 4 inches long. This wasn't a one-time thing. It was maintained for the rest of their lives. It caused permanent disability, made walking painful and difficult, and yet it was seen as so desirable that women with unbound feet struggled to find marriage partners. An entire beauty standard built on lifelong physical damage, passed down for generations, because that's just what beautiful was supposed to look like. Now let's fast forward to Victorian England, because you'd think by the 1800s people would have learned their lesson about poisoning themselves. They had not. Victorian women wanted extremely pale, almost translucent skin, so some of them ate small wafers containing arsenic. Yes, actual arsenic, the poison used in murder mysteries. It was sold as a beauty product, marketed to make skin look luminous and clear. In reality, it was slowly damaging their organs with every dose. Some women reportedly became visibly ill and simply accepted it as the cost of beauty. And Victorian women had another trick: drops made from a plant called Belladonna, which literally translates to beautiful woman in Italian. They put these drops directly into their eyes because it made their pupils dilate, giving them that wide-eyed, doll-like look that was considered attractive. What they may not have realized is Belladonna is also known as deadly nightshade, one of the most toxic plants in the world. Repeated use could cause blurred vision and permanent eye damage. They were blinding themselves for bigger pupils. Now let's go to Elizabethan England, where Queen Elizabeth I herself became the walking example of beauty standards gone wrong. She wore a heavy white paint on her face called Venetian Ceruse, made from the same white lead as the Roman formula centuries earlier. As she got older, and especially after surviving smallpox, which left scarring on her skin, she used this paint even more heavily to cover the damage. But the paint itself was causing new damage: hair loss, skin corrosion, and premature aging. So she had to apply even thicker layers to hide the effects of the layers she'd already applied. She was trapped in a loop, using poison to hide the damage caused by poison. And it wasn't only in the West. In Japan, geisha performers achieved their iconic porcelain white look using a paint that also contained lead in earlier periods. But here's the part that sounds made up but genuinely isn't. Nightingale droppings. Geisha and kabuki performers used a facial treatment made from nightingale feces, known as uguisu no fun, believed to gently exfoliate and brighten the skin. It's actually still sold today in a modern sanitized version as a specialty skincare product in Japan. So somewhere out there, someone is still paying good money for bird droppings on their face, and honestly, considering what we just covered, that might be the safest option on this entire list. So here's the pattern across every single one of these civilizations, thousands of miles and thousands of years apart. Humans have always been willing to damage their bodies for beauty, as long as culture told them it was worth it. And before you feel too superior sitting there scrolling on your phone, ask yourself this. We inject neurotoxins into our foreheads and call it Botox. We get lip filler that can migrate and cause complications years later. We use skin-lightening creams in some parts of the world that still contain mercury today, right now, in this century. We're not as far removed from crocodile dung and lead paint as we'd like to think. We just have better marketing. The forgotten truth is this. Beauty standards were never really about health or nature or even attraction. They were about status, and humans will chase status even when it's actively killing them. The methods change every century. The instinct never does. So the next time someone tells you they'd never do something as crazy as put poison on their face for beauty, just remind them what's sitting in their bathroom cabinet right now.